Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video because I'm going to be starting ranking my whole makeup collection again for 2020. I think I started around this time last year ranking like maybe foundations first. I'm going to try and post a ranking category each week and we're going to go in order that I would do my makeup. So we're going to be ranking my entire primer collection today. I do have 20 primers in my collection, and if you guys know me at all, you know I love primer. For some reason I just have like an infatuation with trying new primers, which is why I probably have 20 in my collection. A little bit absurd, but this is going to be a long video, so we should jump right in. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I hope you'll consider doing so before you go. I do post a minimum of 4 times a week, so if that's something that interests you, then subscribe before moving on. But other than that, let's just jump into the video. So I've been slowly telling myself I want to like whittle my primer collection down, and for some reason it keeps expanding. I feel like it's expanded by like 8 primers since the beginning of the year. Anyway, like I said, I do have 20 primers to get through. I'm going to start with my least favorite primer in my collection and move my way to my very favorite. I can't remember if I did a playlist last year, so if I have a ranking playlist from last year, I'll link it down below. Otherwise, I will for sure link last year's ranking my primer video. I feel like if you guys aren't new to my channel, you can already guess like my tippity top primers. But yeah, let's just jump into the ranking. So starting with number 20, this isn't necessarily even like a primer, but I count it in my primer category when I do my makeup inventory because I use it kind of as a primer, which could be the reason I don't like it. This is the MAC Strobe Cream, and I am currently trying to pan mine. I don't know. I don't love this product. It's basically like a liquid highlight, and I use it as a primer because I don't like to use it as anything else. It does give a nice sheen and a really pretty glow to the face, but I feel like it can look a little bit artificial at times, and I've just struggled to get myself to use this. Of course, when I swatch it on my hand, I feel like it looks good. I just feel like I've struggled to get myself to use this, so I don't have a ton of bad things to say about it. I just don't personally love it for myself, which is why I'm ranking it at the very, very bottom. Next up is a primer that I just probably should not have purchased in the first place. This is from Kaja. This is their Dream Puff Radiant Mousse Primer, and at the time that I purchased this, I was really interested in trying the Origins primer that's similar to this in an aerosol can because I had heard so many people recommend and rave about that one. So I really just wanted to try a primer in an aerosol can, and this, so you shake it up. This is the most bizarre thing ever, and literally this is like, that was one little like the shortest amount of time I could have done. It fell on the ground now. So this is what comes out, and then it like kind of just like puffs away into nothing. It doesn't really give a grip to the skin, but it gives like the most intense glow, and it has like, I feel like I've seen micro glitter in this in the past. Yeah, I just feel like it looks very glittery on the skin, and it's just not at all what I was looking for in a primer. I'm actually currently trying to pan, I don't know if you'll be able to see, it does have like, I swear it has glitter in it. Regardless, I just don't like it. I don't really get how to use the product. I am currently trying to pan this one as well, and I'm thinking I'm going to use it as like an all-over body glow this summer. I feel like that's the best way I'm going to be able to get that to work for me. Definitely not a primer I would really recommend, and not a favorite at all. Next up is, I don't necessarily know that this would be considered a primer either, but again, I count it in my primer category and kind of use it as a primer. So this is from Wander Beauty, and it is the Glow Ahead Illuminating Face Oil. This is another one that just kind of illuminates the face. This does give more of a natural glow than like the MAC Strobe Cream, and I do like this, but it's definitely not something I would repurchase. It doesn't give any sort of real tack to the skin. Again, I don't necessarily know that this would be considered a primer. It's just the way that I personally use it, and not something I would repurchase. I really feel like there are other like beauty oils I would recommend before I would recommend this, so this isn't really something I could recommend either, so that is why it is ranking at number 18. Next up is another primer I'm currently trying to pan. I'm currently trying to pan my primers that I don't like, if you can't tell. This one is from Ofra. This is their Rays of Light primer, and the reason I don't love this primer is because it's supposed to sort of deepen the tone of your skin. I have so many primers layered already. I don't really need to swatch this. It's supposed to give you like a bronzed effect to the skin, and I feel like when you rub this into the skin, it sort of just rubs away into nothing. It does offer a bit of a tack, which I do appreciate, but it's just not something that I enjoy reaching for. There are way better primers out there in my opinion. The price isn't horrible on this for an Ofra product. I believe I got this for $18, so I feel like the price is kind of right for like a kind of middle of the range makeup company. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but just not a favorite of mine, so this one would rank at number 17. Next up is another illuminating primer. This one is from Flower Beauty. It is the In Your Prime Illuminating Primer. The reason I'm ranking this at number 16 is this does give a beautiful like gloss to the skin, but it can look a little bit artificial, and I don't feel like this primer has any sort of tack or grip to it. Typically my favorite primers are primers that offer like a little bit of a glow, but I could even skip the glow if the primer offers a little bit of grip or tack or is something that's going to make my makeup last longer. And I just feel like this offers nothing in the category of longevity or making my makeup last longer, and I just have so many other primers I would prefer to reach for over this. This is something that when I use it, I kind of think to myself, well, I'm reaching for this and I'm not getting to reach for this other primer that I like better. So that is why I would rank this at number 16. Okay, at number 15, I have this one from Farsali. This is the Liquid Glass Radiance Makeup Serum. This is really, really beautiful, but I feel like for $54, it's just like okay. You basically just pat this into the skin like you would a serum, and it does give a nice glow to the skin. It also does offer a little bit of a tack, which is a reason I kind of appreciate it, but this isn't something that I would repurchase. I did get this in a BoxyCharm. I'm glad I got to try this out. There are some Farsali products I've tried that I like a little bit better than this. I actually do really like the Unicorn Essence. I really want to try the Rose Gold Elixir, but more as like an actual skincare item. This isn't something I would use for skincare, but it doesn't do enough for me in the primer category, so that is why I am ranking this at number 15. Next up is the most expensive primer I own in my primer collection. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. It is the Wonder Glow Instant Soft Focus Beauty Flash. This is just way too overpriced. This doesn't offer too much of a grip, and I feel like this one has like a little bit of like glitter flecks in it as well. Maybe it doesn't. Let me just swatch this one too. No, it doesn't really have glitter in it, but this one is pretty gold. I don't know how well a primer swatch is really gonna do, especially on my bronzed skin. This one is pretty gold, so I feel like it's just a very artificial looking glow if you're not going with a foundation over this, like if you were just doing primer. It is a pretty primer in the summertime, but for $55, this is just not something I feel like I could recommend. Definitely not something I will repurchase. Again, it doesn't really offer any sort of tack or grip, so I feel like it's not necessarily making my makeup last longer. It's just offering a hint of a glow, and I can find that for much cheaper than $55. So number 14 is where I would rank the Charlotte Tilbury primer. Coming in at number 13, I have the Origins primer that I wanted that Kaja primer to be. This is the Origins Original Skin Pore Perfecting Cooling Primer with Willow Herb. So this is another really interesting product. Again, you shake it up. This one definitely is a lot different when you squirt this one out. So this one, when you squirt out, it like bubbles a little bit, and it like bubbles as you rub it into. It definitely has a cooling effect. This does offer a little bit of a grip. It's a very interesting product. I have heard that this goes bad pretty quickly, which is why I'm kind of ranking it in the middle. So this is not something I think I would repurchase. I want to say this was like $34, which I feel like is pretty expensive for this product. It's also just such a unique texture that I just don't know if I love it. I've tried just going in and like directly putting this on my face, and I don't love it that way, and then I will put it on my hands and rub it together and kind of pat it into the skin, but it kind of takes away from the cooling effect. I'm glad I got to try this product because it's definitely very interesting and unique, at least to my makeup collection, but it just did not become something that is a favorite, something that I would want to go repurchase. So that is why I'm ranking it at number 13. Next up is a lot of people's like favorite primer, I feel like. This one is from e.l.f. This is the Poreless Putty Primer. I'm not going to show mine actually because this is currently going in a project. This First of all, I just don't love potted primers. Like, I'd rather it be in a squeezy tube or something like that. It's just not my favorite packaging. And I don't know. I just have other primers that fill my pores that I prefer over this. This doesn't pill up on me ever. I feel like this is really nice because it does layer well with other primers, which I feel like some pore filling primers, like, they pill no matter what. So I do really appreciate that about this, but it's just okay in my eyes. Like, it doesn't do a whole lot for it. Like, sometimes I like to use a pore filling primer on my forehead to really smooth things out, and I feel like it just doesn't do a ton for me on my forehead. It does do a nice job of filling in my pores in my T-zone, but just due to the packaging, I don't feel like this is something that I would repurchase, and I do have other pore filling primers that I prefer over this, so it's just not my favorite in the category that it falls in, so that is why I'm ranking this at number 12. Coming in at number 11, I have this one from Laura Mercier. This is the Pore Canvas Primer, and this is the blurring one. This is fine. This is nice. I purchased mine in the mini because I have an abundance of primers in my collection. I believe it was $20 for the mini, which is 0.8 fluid ounces. I just feel like this is expensive, and again, I have other pore filling primers that I prefer over this. I do have like normal to dry skin, sometimes very dry skin. I feel like if you have oily skin or if you get oily in your T-zone, you might like this one a little bit more than me. I have other pore filling primers that I prefer over this because they feel a little bit more hydrating than this one, but if you're not looking for hydration from your pore filling primer, you might really like this one. Again, this is Laura Mercier, so it is a bit more expensive, which is another thing I tried to kind of take into account for when I was ranking all of these. So this is just kind of middle of the line for me. Not something I would repurchase in the full size because I have, again, other pore filling primers that I think are better than this for me and my skin needs, but this was okay. Okay, I wanted to add a little gloss now that we are at the halfway mark. Okay, so coming in at number 10 is a primer that probably, or definitely probably ranked a lot higher last year if I had this primer when I ranked my primers. This is the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, and I have gone through a mini, and this is my second mini. So I do really like this primer, but I have found a primer that I feel like grips better than this in a sense that it definitely sets down quicker than this one does, and I feel like it does a really nice job of gripping. So this kind of fell down in the ranks because I used to love this for its gripping aspect, and now I have another primer that I like better than this that does kind of the same thing. So I will finish this up, and I'm not sure that I would purchase this again. I have heard some people are sensitive to this, and this has made some people break out. I never had an issue with this making me break out. This does do a really nice job of gripping your makeup. I loved using this all last summer with a tinted moisturizer. I feel like that tinted moisturizer stayed put all day, which is really rare and hard with a tinted moisturizer. The tough thing with this one is you just have to let it sink in and set down for like 5 to 10 minutes. So if you're in a rush, this is going to be a no-go. It's a nice primer, and I do think it serves a great purpose, but again, I just have a primer that kind of does the same thing that I now prefer over this. Next, coming in at number 9, I have this one from Ulla Henriksen. This is the Banana Bright Face Primer. This is a really nice primer, and this is one that I would consider purchasing again when I finish this. I am not 100% sold on that though, because I do have another like kind of illuminating primer that I do obviously prefer over this. This is ranking at number 9, but this smells really nice. There is vitamin C in this, which I can appreciate, and it does give a really beautiful glow to the skin. This also offers like a really nice tack to the skin. It does feel moisturizing on my skin, and I really do like this one. This one is more expensive when you purchase it in the full size, which is why I've kind of pushed this one down the ranks a little bit, but this is one that I would consider repurchasing, and I would recommend this one. Again, this does give a pretty intense, I don't know how well you'll be able to see because now I have like 80 primers layered over one another. This does give a pretty intense glow to the skin, so if you don't like your skin to have like a glow, I wouldn't recommend this one, but I think that this one is really beautiful. Coming in at number 8, I have this one from Catrice. This is the Prime and Fine Fresh It Up Primer. This is a really nice primer if you were looking for an affordable hydrating primer. It is a thinner consistency than I was expecting. I had heard this primer specifically compared to the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer, and this one definitely is a thinner consistency, a thinner, almost gel-like consistency, but it does offer a lot of hydration and it feels really nice on the skin. I believe this is $7.99. This is something that I definitely would consider repurchasing. Again, it's a great price, feels very hydrating, and I was really impressed with this one from Catrice. Coming in at number 7 is this one from Touch in Sol. This is the No Pore Bloom Primer, Smooth and Pore Covering. This is a really nice primer, and it's only $18, which I felt like was a pretty fair price, again, for a brand that's kind of sold at Sephora, kind of in that middle range price. This one is one that does a really nice job of smoothing, but it also feels very hydrating on the skin. This is my second bottle of this, and this is something I would consider repurchasing. I have a couple. I do have one other primer I'm going to talk about that is pore-filling, a little bit higher up in the ranks, that I do prefer a little bit more than this. So the only reason I wouldn't repurchase this is because I have that other primer. But I do still really like this one, and I could see myself just repurchasing this one kind of to have it after I finish this. I mean, I pretty much have the full jar left in this. If you have dry skin but you want a smoothing primer, I would definitely recommend checking this one out from Touch in Sol. Okay, number 5 and 6 were pretty much a tie, and I ranked number 6 and number 6 because of the price difference. So coming in at number 6, I have this one from Tarte. It is the Base Tape Primer. I've recently been testing this one out. I got this in a BoxyCharm, and this is a really, really nice hydrating primer. This I would definitely compare to the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. I think that they are very similar. This one offers a bit of a tack to the skin, and it's very, very hydrating. So if you have dry skin, this is a really, really nice one. And then if you want a less expensive alternative, I think that these are basically like the same primer. So this one from Good Molecules would be my number 5. This is the silicone-free priming moisturizer. Again, offers a really good amount of hydration, a little bit of tack to the skin, and this one smooths a little bit as well. I think that this one is really, really nice. This one, actually, you get 1.7 ounces for maybe like $12 or $14. This one you only get 1 fluid ounce. I'm not 100% sure of the price on this, maybe $30. So this is so much more affordable. If you are trying to decide between these two, I would definitely recommend this one over this one, because like I said, they're essentially the same primer and you're getting more for less with this. Again, if you have dry skin, I think this is a beautiful option for a primer, and this is something that when I finish, I will absolutely be repurchasing. Coming in at number 4 is a newer one to my collection. So this is the one that is replacing the Milk Hydro Grip, and this is the Tula Face Filter Blurring and Moisturizing Primer. So I actually didn't find this primer to be very blurring or moisturizing, but I felt like this was a really great gripping primer. This has a pretty intense grip to it, and I feel like it really helps to make my makeup last all day. Again, I've tested this multiple times with my tinted moisturizer, and this has lasted me all day at work, which is really, really saying something. This is one that I definitely intend to repurchase when I finish this, and I probably will be wearing this all summer long with my tinted moisturizers, because it just sets down really, really quickly and offers a really great grip to the skin. I do wish that this was a little bit more moisturizing, but sometimes you can't have your cake and eat it too. So I will take this for the grip aspect of it, and I was really impressed with this one from Tula. All right, you guys, we have made it to the top 3, and if you know my makeup collection or my primer collection, you're probably not surprised that my top 3 are all from the same brand of First Aid Beauty. I think First Aid Beauty makes the best primers. I believe you get 1.7 fluid ounces in each primer, and they're $28, maybe $29. I think that's such a good price for what you're getting, and just such high quality primers. It was really, really hard for me to rank these 3 because they each serve a different purpose in my primer collection, and I just love all 3 of them. Coming in at number 3, I decided to go with the First Aid Beauty Pores Be Gone Matte Primer. This is an amazing pore filling primer, smoothing primer, but this does offer a little bit of hydration. It makes my skin still feel hydrated yet smooth and a little bit mattified. So I feel like this could really work for all skin types, which I really appreciate. This, again, is my number 1 smoothing go-to pore filling primer. I think it's just amazing. I don't have enough good things to say about this. Coming in at number 2 is newer to my collection. This is the Ultra Repair Hyaluronic Hydrating Primer. This, again, has a really great grip to it, but this offers hydration as well, and it just feels incredible on my skin. I was blown away by this primer. I thought when I bought this that this would be like my number 3 out of all the First Aid Beauty primers, but I was just really surprised at the grip that it offered and really impressed by that. So this would be in my number 2, and then you guys probably could have guessed from the beginning of this video, my number 1 is still the First Aid Beauty Coconut Skin Smoothing Priming Moisturizer. First of all, it just smells like a coconutty dream, and it offers the most beautiful glossy shine to the skin, but it doesn't look artificial. It's just like, it has like a scent memory attached to it. I don't know, I like specifically remember when I first purchased this, and I just have such fond memories of this. This is just such an amazing primer. Now, if you have more oily skin, I probably would go with the Pores Be Gone Matte Primer, because this is going to give you a pretty good gloss to the skin, a very beautiful and healthy glow. This is a primer I always reach for if I am doing like no foundation and I just want my skin to look healthy and glowy. It offers a bit of a grip, definitely not the most grip. So I think if I really was going for like very long lasting makeup, I would opt for one of the other 2 primers, but I know I'm going to be reaching for this in the summer, especially if I do like just primer and concealer. It's just such a beautiful primer, and I absolutely love it. Again, all First Aid Beauty primers are just incredible. Highly recommend them. And that is my ranking of my entire primer collection, all 20 primers in my collection. I would love to hear from you guys. What are your top 3, bottom 3 primers that you've ever tried? Definitely let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for sticking around to watch today's video and supporting my channel, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye.